What's up, guys? We're back again for another review, something a little different, but maybe not too different. Something I don't do too often, but a franchise that I have reviewed to some extent. We've got a Ninja Turtle figure today. We've got a Tales of the TMNT Rocksteady. This is the 80's Rocksteady figure. He is apparently a recent release. You know, the Tales of the TMNT stuff is new, but I don't follow this too much. I just know that I saw some people posting about him online. Apparently, he's slightly difficult to come across. Him and Bebop are apparently hard to get a hold of. So far, I happened across him at a Target, so I figured, why the hell not? Let's snatch him up. He comes in the standard blister card for this series. We've got Rocksteady up in the corner with Bebop. And then on the back, it's got just a little cross-sell, which is different for this line. Usually there's a bunch of stuff down here like the old days, a bunch of different figures, but we've just got 80's Rocksteady, 80's Leo, which is a weird-looking figure, and 80's Bebop here. So let's pull this guy out and take a look. Alright guys, so here is our 80's Rocksteady out of the packaging, and this is going to be a pretty brief review. There's not tons to talk about. There's not really a lot going on with these current Playmates TMNT figures. They are obviously, you know, kind of base level figures, like an $8-ish price point, and I bought this guy as mostly a impulse kind of buy just to capitalize on that nostalgia factor here in terms of the look and the overall style. There are some differences to this particular Rocksteady, you know, just stylistic interpretations from this particular show. I don't even know if he looks like this in the show right now. I don't watch it. I've never really watched it. I should, but I haven't, and honestly, I don't know why. So let's take a look at the figure real quick. There is not a lot going on for articulation. The head can spin, but it's molded in such a way that if you spin it, you're going to see, you know, the shoulders and the neck just based on how he's sculpted. The arms can rotate. There is no other hinge of any kind. Wrist swivel. We do have a waist twist. Legs can rotate at the thigh, and then there is ankle rotation, but it doesn't really serve you any purpose. There's really no articulation that actually does anything on this figure for the most part. Moving his legs, like, that's not really going to do much. You can make him look like he's walking a little bit, but that's about it. And then get him to swing his arms up so his weapons are maybe in a different position rather than him just holding them at his waist. So, you know, people aren't buying these because they're dynamic, though, so I'm not going to say that that's a problem. It's the level of figure we've got here. As far as the sculpt on him goes, I think it's halfway decent. He looks a lot more like a rhinoceros in this interpretation than the original, and I don't know if there's a reason to really compare the two. It's a different interpretation, different series, different design, so I'm cool with it. We've got the classic style turtle shell type helmet that he has on with the binoculars on it. He's got the spikes on his shoulders. He's got his bandolier, which is a free-floating piece for the most part, but it is attached on the back, but it does move elsewhere. And then he's got his camo motif going on with some pouches on the side. The head is sculpted pretty nicely, though. I feel like I'm going to see a lot of customizers really go to town on these. I follow a couple guys on Instagram in particular that paint up these figures and just really go to town on bringing out the sculpt that is actually there for the most part on these figures. It's just, you know, what are you going to get for an $9 figure? I think it's $8. So I like what we got here for the most part. Paint's cleanly applied where it is applied. And then for the most part, the only other issue that I really have is there's a little splotch right here on the back. I'm assuming it's because of this part kind of coming off on his pouch. Not a huge deal. It's on the back. I'm not going to worry too much about it. But there is a decent amount of different paint apps on here for a base figure. We've got different shades of white and gray on the face. We got the blue in the eyes. We've got golds, obviously, greens and browns. And it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna nitpick and pull this thing apart too much because at the end of the day, you know, it is definitely a line meant for kids. But I thought I got him because, you know, I thought he looked kind of fun, and he is obviously a character that I remember and have pretty fond memories of from when I was a kid, so why not take a look at a new figure? As far as accessories goes, he has two. You can see him right now. And the only real drawback in that regard for me is that they were so hard to get in the hands. These hands are really, really tight. And the weird thing is that the hands actually have a molded design on them that shows you, I assume, which weapon goes in which hand. So we've got the hammer in this hand. There's a little hammer on that hand. And then the sickle kind of thing, which has one here, is on this hand. I find that really odd. I didn't have a particularly easy time with any of them. This hand is more open than this hand, but it didn't really help me. I had to heat them up and pry them apart to be able to fit those weapons in. That might be just something that I ran into, so your mileage may vary on that, but just something to note. So, you know, overall, pretty cool figure. He's $8, nothing too crazy. I am going to get the Bebop if I can find him, and it's actually made me want to get a couple other figures in this line. I know I really don't need to go down that road, but that's what I do. So, you know, if you're into the line, definitely one to get a hold of, I'm sure. And if maybe you want just a random TMNT figure with some nostalgia factor to him, he's pretty cool. So that is going to do it for this look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 80s Rocksteady figure from Playmates. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time, guys.